So last week we had 2 episodes that got leaked early, but this week we have 2 very different episodes, I feel, where we have Ivy on the Run, which I think is going to be like a cute, fun episode with Sprig and Ivy running away, and then Ivy at the end is going to be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't run away from home, and my mom does care about me, and it'll be really sweet and cute. And then the other episode after the rain is just going to be pain and suffering and Hop having to come clean about the Calamity Box and the potential consequences of hiding that and lying to Anne, Sprig, and Polly about that. Like, Matt has been hyping this up. He has been asking fans to tag spoilers and everything. So I am ready for pain in the rain, so let's go. Alright, Ivy on the Run. The calm before the storm, like, pretty much literally, since this is right before after the rain.
I've been awake for
Oh man, she's a morning person. I wish I could be a morning person. I wake up at 1 a.m. so I could record these and film these when the episodes drop at 2 o'clock.
bug hunting. I told you last night, remember? I remember saying you had to finish your chores first.
Oh, the accursed chores.
Now let's see how good a job you
Probably
did.
not good. Yeah, a speck.
Their necks are
they're
looking
beautiful.
pretty sad.
No, it's beautiful.
Come on. Oh, Mr. Henderson, is that a new scar?
I used to work at a YMCA as a lifeguard, and I used to take the opening shift, and they were all just like older members, and I knew them all on like a first name basis.
It's so annoying.
Oh my god, she's so strong.
Muay Thai! Muay Thai! Muay Thai! I'll tell you what I need.
Oh my god.
You know what Mommy really
Singing
needs?
Spice Girls.
You, out of her kitchen. The only line.
And Smiley's Voice by Matt Bradley's mom, which I think is really cool and cute.
Muay Thai! Muay Thai! Muay Thai!
I wonder if they're actually going to do Muay Thai, or if they're just going to run around screaming Muay Thai.
Ah, your trip
This
sounds
is like
amazing.
Animal Crossing.
Ivy can do.
Is that like a phone?
She's so cool.
I agree, Ivy is pretty cool. Yeah. Polly may not be the best at this. She's not the most patient of individuals.
Good
Oh
luck,
man,
Waller.
Wally is like super patient. Yeah, Wally just like is a chill, laid-back dude, so he has no problem being patient and waiting for his opportunity.
We all have our off days, I suppose.
It's only off by a little bit. What are you doing? Oh my goodness, is this gonna be every Saturday now? Okay, that's a bit off-center. I can understand that a bit. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. That is impressive. Okay.
Well, it's hard to argue with that logic.
Well, I don't know why you're bringing Sprig into
every
this.
time
Also, can you get your butt away from me? Thank you. What is your plan? I feel like people never think this through. I'm sorry, Ivy Hibiscus Matcha Sundew. That's her full name.
Oh, hey, thanks.
Oh, I thought she was gonna be like a trade-off. Like, I'll give you back Polly if you come back home.
Maybe I don't even want to be your daughter.
Oh, yikes. I can't imagine a scenario where any parent would be like, yes, child, beat me in a fight. I know it's martial arts, but still, this seems like such odd logic.
Whoa.
She's
Must have been a lucky
graceful
dodge. Here I come.
and patient, where Ivy is not. I mean, do you really want to, like, run away, though? Is that, like, genuinely, like, your goal here?
It's alright. Do it.
Oh no, Wally!
That was technically your fault.
There's a good chance he won't remember this.
Yeah, because he's concussed. Oh god, after the rain, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. It's like the equivalent of just, like, bubble wrap.
The music box!
Yep. I would have put that at the top. Like, underlined, circled, bolded.
It can't be. The music box. It's gone.
Oh boy. This was gonna come back and bite you in the butt.
You gotta understand. I was just trying to protect Sprig and Polly.
He was trying to keep his family safe, but he probably should have just been honest from the beginning about how dangerous it could be. I mean, I kind of saw this coming. Like, he wasn't going to be able to keep this up forever, and they needed the Calamity Box going forward as they took on the temples, so it's like...
What? Oh, it gets worse. When I went to dig it
Oh,
up last
God,
night,
yeah.
it was gone.
At least you know how bad it
Saw the whole
is.
thing. Yeah. And then I'm gonna clean that up.
There have been a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog references lately. Oh, man.
Never thought I'd
Anne
sleep
was
in this
here.
cave again.
You really should hear the rest of this.
You probably should. He's probably gonna tell you how to beat it. Oh, this is such terrible planning on your guys' end to just jump head first into this. But I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's very in character.
Maybe we should have listened to the end of Saki Joe's thing.
Yes, you definitely should have.
Okay.
Well, they're dead. Bye, Sprig and Polly.
If that's even your real name. Oh wait, Hop Hop's a nickname.
I need
Yeah.
to know why. The truth is...
That sounds like...
Sprig, Polly!
Why?
No, I lied to you, but trust
Oh, man,
me,
this is like
at least long enough to
paralleling
save the kids.
reunion with Sasha hanging off the tower.
Sprig, grab
This
on!
reminds me of like Zelda with like the hook shot. Good job, guys. Teamwork makes the dream work.
And now, we're through here.
Wow.
Man, no.
Polly and Sprig didn't know?
Sprig and Polly's parents. I was on a journey
man.
when the herons attacked Wartwood. You're my family, too.
He had the best of intentions. He just should have just been honest about how dangerous it could have been.
Reconciliation.
Calamity Box?
Yeah, I figured this
That does
was
sound
going to
bad.
be from
Yeah,
After the
not
Rain.
exact.
Guys, I hate to say it, but this temple quest may be more dangerous than we thought.
Definitely will. I don't know how you didn't think it would be dangerous going into it.
You kids sure you don't want to wear the puffy suits?
Pop, pop.
Okay, just had to ask.
All right, oh god, the next episode we have is the first temple. That's gonna be huge. There's gonna be so much to go over in that episode. It's 22 minutes long. Oh man, this was a good setup for the first temple and everything like that. And I'm glad we got some more backstory on like Hop Hop and Sprig and Polly's parents and all that stuff. So that was good. But oh man, next episode is gonna be even worse in the sense that I feel that we're gonna cover even more stuff. Oh boy, but I'm so excited. Oh my god. We're getting into the thick of it with Amphibia, and I'm super excited about that. So after a lot of hype, we got Ivy on the Run and After the Rain. And I'm just gonna be real with you guys and go over Ivy on the Run pretty quickly. Not that the episode was bad at all or that the crew didn't do a good job, but After the Rain was definitely the bigger episode of the two. But with Ivy on the Run, I like that this was the first episode that we got that focused on Ivy in a while. I like a lot of the small details like the target practice, the map that Sprig gave her of his travels around Amphibia, the motivational posters which end up coming back later in the episode, and the wooden training dummy. It's all very Ivy and it shows a lot of her personality. I also envy her for being such a morning person, because I get up to record when the episodes drop at 2 a.m. and I feel exhausted, but who knows, maybe after 7 more weeks of doing this, things will get easier. The main conflict for this episode is that Ivy doesn't like how her mom is so strict when it comes to her chores. And chores suck regardless when you're a kid, but I understand both sides in that Felicia can sometimes be a bit picky, but Ivy also needs to put a little bit more care and effort into the tasks she is assigned. I mean, this is for her mom's business and main source of income, so you'll probably want to do a good job to keep her in business. But I actually relate a lot to Ivy and her mom. My mom actually used to be a manager at a restaurant when I was little, and my younger sister and I would go in with her on Sunday mornings to help her roll silverware. It wasn't exactly fun, but it meant a lot to my mom that my sister and I would help out, and she would even give us money as part of our allowance. Now, even though this is an Ivy episode, we do get some nice moments from Sprig here in that he is still kind of insecure being around Ivy, planning what he's gonna say and exaggerating his adventures when he traveled to Newtopia. but it shows that he cares what Ivy thinks about him and wants her to like him. Which makes sense, this is really their first relationship for both of them, so it's understandable that there are some insecurities there. Sprig also gives Felicia the benefit of the doubt when Ivy says she's been so strict, saying that she probably has her reasons. We also get another ambush moment, and I like that this is just Ivy and Sprig's thing now. I think that the Anne and Polly Muay Thai B-plot is fun. I like that we get to see young Anne and her mom again briefly, and I also like the Spice Girls reference. But I like that Polly needs to learn a lesson in being patient. She's usually the first to jump into combat, so I think it was good for her to see that eagerness doesn't always pay off and you need to wait for your opportunity. That's why Wally is so good at it, because he's a chill and laid back guy. Some of the smaller details I liked was that there is an Amphibia equivalent to a phone and that Ivy's full name is Ivy Hibiscus Matcha Sundew. Eventually, Ivy gets so frustrated by her mother's pickiness with chores, she decides to run away, the previously seen posters being what convinces her to do so. I also find it funny how Ivy just ropes Sprig into all of this. Like, the kid has a family and is supposed to continue traveling around Amphibia to take on the temples, and Ivy is just like, nah, let's run away together. I like the revelation that Felicia is actually a world traveler and skilled martial artist. Similar to Polly, Ivy is overeager in combat, while her mother is patient and graceful. When Felicia has the opportunity to win, she wants her daughter to win to understand that her tea lessons have been to prepare her for traveling the world someday. Like Sprig said earlier in the episode, Felicia had her reasons. Maybe she could have been more forward and honest with her intentions, because if Ivy knew her lessons were to prep her for world travel, then maybe she would have been a bit more dedicated. But with that knowledge now, Ivy is more appreciative of her mother and her lessons. I feel a lot of the time the runaway storyline is the kid figuring out that they don't actually want to run away from home, which is what I initially thought. But I like that this episode puts a new spin on the trope in that Ivy still wants to travel the world, it will just be with her mom at some point in the future, and that everything she thought she hated was actually to help prepare her for that endeavor. Again, like Polly, Ivy needed to learn a lesson in patience. And a small detail, we also get mention of Ivy's father at the very end of the episode. I don't necessarily think he'll be an important character since this is the first mention of him, but it's a nice detail regardless. Overall, I thought this episode was a really sweet look at the relationship between Ivy and her mother. And while this was a fun look at family dynamics, the next episode after the rain definitely goes to some more serious places. Now, I think all of us knew that Hop Hop wasn't going to be able to lie forever, and that he was going to have to come clean at some point. And Anne's reaction is about what I expected. She put her trust in Hop Hop only to find out that he has been lying to her. Considering the planters are the ones that took her in and have become her found family, Hop Hop lying hurts even more. Anne also brings up the point that she needs the box in order to get home. By lying, it was essentially keeping her trapped in Amphibia alongside Marcy and Sasha. But I do understand where Hop Hop is coming from. He wanted to protect his family, specifically for reasons that will be revealed later on. And while Hop Hop was essentially trapping Anne, him lying was also an attempt to protect her. I mean, Hop Hop considers Anne his adopted granddaughter. He doesn't know what the Calamity Box does or is capable of. It's not too far out of the realm of possibility that the box could hurt Anne in an attempt to get home. It's definitely a complicated situation, and I understand both sides. And while Hop Hop had good intentions, he probably should have just been honest in how dangerous the box could be from the start. Anne running off makes sense in this moment. Sometimes the best thing to do is remove yourself from the situation. And I also didn't think she was going to come back on her own because she is justifiably angry. But I do think it's sweet, and it shows that Hop Hop genuinely does care about Anne by staying up all night waiting for her. I also like the contrast in Anne's reaction versus Sprig and Polly's reaction. Sure, they are definitely shocked that Hop Hop lied, but they don't hold a grudge against him. They have known Hop Hop longer than Anne has, so they are in a position where they know that he likely didn't have any ill intent, but just made a bad decision. They may not understand his reasons why, but they are still supportive of him, and they do still hold him accountable for his actions and telling him he needs to fix things with Anne. While Hop Hop is out doing that, Sprig and Polly go to try and find the music box. And we get another Sonic the Hedgehog reference here. We also see that Anne was staying in the cave she slept in when she first arrived to Amphibia. I didn't catch that on my first watch through, but the tallies are likely how many days she was there before the planters took her in. Back in town, Sprig and Polly come across Soggy Joe, who just very randomly appears in this episode, which I think is funny, but he tells them about the magpie beetle and its mating ritual where it takes belongings to make its shell. Obviously, this being Sprig and Polly though, they don't stick around to hear the rest of his explanation and go charging right in, which is very in character for both of them. And a small detail here, you can actually see Anne's missing shoe in this Love-nado. So Matt, I hope you finally don't have anyone ask you where Anne's other shoe is. But we go back to see Anne having a straight up castaway moment and talking to Rocky before Hop Hop shows up. Anne obviously isn't thrilled to see him, but Hop Hop tries to explain himself. Before he can though, we get the classic something comes up before you can explain a big revelation trope. So Anne and Hop Hop go to find Sprig and Polly. Hop Hop wants to work together, but Anne is still reluctant to do so. In a very reunion-esque moment, we have Hop Hop begging Anne to at least trust him long enough to help save Sprig and Polly. While Anne may be angry with Hop Hop, she's not about to let Sprig and Polly get hurt because of her personal feelings. However, she doesn't plan on sticking around. The fact that she was ready to leave Sprig and Polly behind without even a goodbye shows how mad Anne is. Obviously, the two were just as clueless as she was when it came to Hop Hop's decision, but they will likely be more forgiving, which may not sit too well with Anne. But ultimately, it's the sense of betrayal on Hop Hop's end that's motivating her decision to leave. Now, Hop Hop does acknowledge what he did wasn't right, but his reasoning was because he couldn't protect Sprig and Polly's parents and promised to never let anything bad happen to Sprig or Polly. Hop Hop says he was on a journey when herons attacked Wartwood, Sprig and Polly survived, but both of their parents were killed. Now, the first thing I want to mention is that Hop Hop was on a journey, and I'm curious if that journey had more significance than just traveling. But the biggest thing out of this was that we learned the fate of Sprig and Polly's parents. Obviously, the two had been absent for all of the show, and then in Hopping Mall, we finally get the confirmation from Sprig of his mother dying when he was young. And now we learn the cause of death. With Sprig and Polly's parents being mentioned more in Season 2, I wouldn't be surprised if they play an important role in the story. Sprig's mom specifically, since the frog in the torn photo bears a resemblance to Sprig. I also have to acknowledge Bill Farmer's performance as Hop Hop here because I think this is probably his best scene in the show thus far. Hop Hop is a bit of a crotchety old man, so seeing him be so emotional here is a nice change of pace and shows the softer side of him. These moments are pretty few and far between, so when we do get them, there is a bigger impact, with Hop Hop apologizing and forgives him and understands his reasons. He then shows them the book with the Calamity Box, which according to him has been in the family for generations. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if Sprig and Polly's mom has some sort of connection to the king. But now all that's left to do is to wait for Marcy to arrive and begin the quest to take on the 3 temples, which will probably be some of the most lore-heavy episodes, especially with the first temple being 22 minutes long. After the Rain was a nice setup for this and also dealt with the conflict of Hop Hop lying. I know that some people will probably feel this episode wasn't story-heavy enough or that the reveal wasn't that big, but with where the show is heading, I feel like we are slowly building to some of the heavier plot. Amphibia has always been a show that typically sprinkles in its lore, so not every single revelation will be a huge twist, but rather adding to the already established narrative. After all, we just got started with the second half of Season 2, so I'm sure there are plenty of twists coming, which I cannot wait for as we begin to take on the temples. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you have a fantastic day, and until next time guys, take care.